balance is really, it's tricky. So balance is a tricky target because you can never really know where that perfect balanced soil is. There's a book called Ideal Soil, which I like. Michael Estera wrote it. If I had written that book, it would have really bothered me to call it Ideal Soil because I don't think there is such a thing. But nothing against the book; it actually is excellent. When I talk about balanced soil, what I'm mostly refer to is the mineral balancing of that soil. So you need that soil to be balanced in terms of the calcium, magnesium, potassium, the trace elements, the other macro nutrients. It also relates to the balance of the soil structure. So you need a balance. You'd like a balance of clay, silt, sand to make up your soil. There's balance in terms of how much water or air is in your soil. There's balance in terms of the bacteria and fungi and the ratios. Oftentimes when you add something, you will invariably knock something else out of whack. So you add bacteria, you're going to have that bacteria is going to be competing with the fungi. You add fungi, they're going to be taking food from the bacteria, theoretically. In the same way, if you add calcium, there's going to be a change in the availability of magnesium, potassium, sodium, and countless other minerals as well. You add phosphorus, depending on what source, it's going to tie up calcium, or it's going to counteract zinc, or things like that. And so when you're trying to figure out what you need to add, you should, you got to be thinking about trying to get it towards balance. And so we have standards, so there's Logan Labs recommended target numbers, and if you get close to those targets, I would say you're balancing your soil. Sometimes you can have soils that so I'm an engineer by training, and in my studies I forget what it's called, but you can have basically sub-optimized systems where you have like your systems like this, or you have a curve like this, and you're here, and things are doing pretty well, but you really want to be up here, but there's this like dip down here to get there, and so you actually have to knock it out of balance to then get to that higher level of performance. So you can have like a regular forest ecosystem can be very well balanced, but it can be very well balanced at a not very productive level. Same with a farm field. You can have a productive farm field, it's balanced, everything's sort of like happy, but it's not vibrant and really producing high quality. And so you might need to knock it out of that balance to get to where you need to go. So an example of that would be like you've got a soil that everything's kind of working, but it's got a little bit too much magnesium, but your calcium's perfect, your sulfur might be, let's say it's fine. But in order to get to that next level, you've got to add actually an excessive amount of calcium to get rid of the magnesium. So you add the excessive calcium according to what your soil test says you need, and you wait 2 years, and in that time, during those 2 years, you may struggle with deficient magnesium, or you may struggle with some other symptoms of having added too much calcium, but at the end of that period, you've now fixed that magnesium issue, and your ability to perform goes way up. And so I'm always thinking when I'm consulting with people, how do we get them to a higher state? And sometimes you have to do something like that.